Hey everybody, welcome back to another JTech video. Today we're going to be going over hydraulic rams, basic construction, taking it apart, putting it together, measuring out, and checking the components. This is a light duty type. You can usually tell because it has the extending bolts here to hold the top and bottom head together on the cylinder. If it was a heavier duty, it would be more of a one-piece construction with the ram coming in at the top. I went ahead and loosened these couple parts. And quick note, on most hydraulic rams, you'll be able to see manufacturer sticker or tag with rating, model number, so you can order the replacement parts when you rebuild these. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Take off the top yoke, or the top eyelet. Like I said, I already went ahead and pre-loosened the bolts. It is pretty simple, just assembly. Now if this were a real work environment, you'd be replacing all the bolts, all the seals on the inside, and so forth. So with that, take off the restraining bolts and the top yoke. Go ahead and just gently lift up on the top head. Comes off just so. Now these are very carefully machined parts, so you do want to be careful not to ding or scratch them. Set them on a clean area so the internal parts are not contaminated. And that's all you have to it for the disassembly. Now when I said replacing all the seals, the parts I was talking about are these right here. This little O-ring. That's what helps seal and keep the hydraulic fluid inside the cylinder so it can pressurize. If you look carefully inside of here, you can see where the internal ports are. And that's where the connection, the fitting would hook in and push the hydraulic fluid in and out, depending on the cylinder type. So while we're here, we're going to go ahead and do a quick inspection, the top land, and making sure there's no, well, as you see right here, or you might be able to, there's a bit of cavitation right there, so that would probably be a new part. It's kind of hard to see. Dings, dents, anything of that nature. And you go ahead and do the same thing on the top really quick. You go ahead and replace the seals, inspect. It's got a couple of little dings and dents from probably being disassembled and reassembled a few times. The main rod itself, once again, inspect the seal, which will probably be replacing. And you just look over, and all these scoring ding marks, any part that's not shiny chrome or stainless, would be evidence that it was either overloaded, contaminated, and it would probably have to be replaced. Once again, same thing on the internals on this. We're looking for scoring, cracks, dents, dings. You can see it is on this edge. A little bit of contamination in it. But while we're in here, one thing we'd also do is inspection of the components for on the ram itself, straightness, outer round, things like that. All right, so one thing when we have it disassembled, we're going to do a component inspection, and one of them is the outer round and the straightness on the ram. So all you do is you pick 3 separate spots and check the treble on your dial indicator, which looks about 1 or 2 thousandths. And I check on 3 different spots. Looks about the same, about 1 thousandth. About 1 thousandth. And check the straightness, you just move it back and forth. That looks about 3 or 4 thousandths out of straight. Well, that's about 5. And that's way more. So obviously this is not straight. So because of that and the scoring and marks on this, we'd go ahead and replace it. The one thing we're checking with the out around as well is the making sure this is not out around the internal diameter of the bore. So we're going to take our inside gauges. And go ahead and measure them very carefully. Now the inside diameter was 2 inches. And see, we have about 3 thousandths under 2 inches. That's going to be the room for the oil to move. And another thing you can measure is the diameter on that. And you see that's slightly smaller than the inside diameter of the bore. And that's what the oil clearance is. Now, I already checked it one way, we're going to go ahead and double check. And once again, you see we're within 1/1000th of being round, so that's definitely acceptable. Now, like I said, if this were a real service shop, I would go ahead and do it on one point, at least 3 different points in the cross pattern, and check it, inspect the internals, make sure there's no scoring or anything of that nature. Since this is training, we're going to go ahead and reassemble it. And that's exactly the same way we disassembled it, just reverse. We have our bottom land securely set up with clean, good seals on it. Tight fit. Very gently put it down. And make sure the label is easily able to read for the next person who does work on it or needs a service. Like I said. Now, one thing you do want to do is there were some bolts in the side here where the hydraulic fittings would go in. If you go ahead and remove those, that allows the air to travel and it lets it assemble it easier. You do want to be careful though, because that can lead to contamination. So like I said, we got this put together. Go ahead and put our restraining bolts in. And when you do tighten, just put them down. When you do tighten them down, like anything else, when you get to torque them, you want to torque them in a cross pattern so it seats evenly on both the top and bottom heads. And with that, we go ahead and screw the top yoke on. One thing I didn't mention while we were in here is our eyelets. We want to check it for straightness and the internal diameter here, that it's not out of round or anything of that nature. So we go ahead and tighten the yoke down and making sure it's lined up with the bottom or whatever direction it attaches to the equipment on. we have that tightened down. As you can see, smoothly moves full range of motion. And one way to check it is if we go ahead and put these bolts back in. Pull up, and if it sucks back down, you know that has seal is good on the bottom. It's creating the vacuum on here and drawing that back down. And if you want, you can do it the same at the top and double check it both ways. But anyway, that's all there is to it. We hope you have a good day.